we have to improvise anyway. So we're lying down, and for those of you who can lie on your side, just pick your favorite side. And for those of you who are not comfortable lying on your sides, just stay on your back and improvise. Yeah, and if you start to get uncomfortable, then just roll onto your back. Actually, Judy, start on your back at the beginning, and then I'll mention when it'll be even better for you to start lying on your side, just so you're not on it any longer. Okay. Okay, so just again, starting with breathing, starting with feeling. And as you're resting there, just feel the support of the floor, your bed. Feel the support under your head, and as you exhale, just really let your head go. Feel the support under your shoulders, and as you exhale, just really let your shoulders go. Feel the support under your back or your ribs. Exhale into the floor. Feel the support under your pelvis. And just let it go. And the support under your legs, if you're on your side, between your knees, your feet. And on your side, if you're able to, just bend your knees so one knee is resting on the other. It's comfortable. If you're on your back, probably better to keep your knees bent, but if it's more comfortable to have your knees long, that's fine too. And as you rest there breathing, just feel any movement that the breath makes. You're not breathing in any special way. You're not trying to do it right or do it wrong. But you are feeling the influence of the breath on the movement of the body. And I would say of all of the sleeping lessons, there's a little element in this one that's sort of the most Feldenkrais-ian of all of them. So particularly feel what happens in your ribs. You inhale and your lungs expand. Does that influence the movement of your ribs? And again, bring your attention to the ribs on the side of you. So often we think of our ribs in front of us. We don't as often think of the ribs along our sides. And if it's easy, it can be a little awkward for your shoulders. So if it's easy, can you place one hand along the ribs of your upper side? And can you get a sense of how does the breath go there? If you're on your back, pick one side to bring your attention to. And if you think at some point you might roll onto your side, the side I want you to pay attention to would be the side that would be up. And you might even just intentionally bring a little more breath into the ribs on that side. And notice, can you feel a sense of expansion? If you're on your side, do they open up sort of upward towards the ceiling? And with all of these, if you don't feel that kind of movement, that's okay. Notice what you do feel or what you don't feel. Sense into the breath. So I think in all of these lessons, we're just tuning in to that breath is movement. We don't usually think about our breath in terms of movement, but when the body is soft, when the muscles are relaxed, the breath can move through your whole system, your ribs, your belly, your spine. All of your joints can potentially move and open and close, so to speak, as your breath opens and expands, and as you exhale and relax. So we're just sensing more specifically into these movements. And then if you think you might be comfortable on your side, go ahead and you're not already on your side, go ahead and roll onto your side. Feeling those ribs expanding with the inhalation and just letting go with the exhalation. Some people describe it as an upward movement. The ribs, as the lungs inflate with the inhalation, the ribs sort of move upward a little bit. And then they go downward with the exhalation. And then listen to what happens in the shoulder. So if there's movement in the ribs with the inhalation and exhalation, just sense in, is there any movement with the shoulder? There might not be, and that's always fine. But if there was going to be a response in the shoulder, maybe just upward, a little towards the ear. Just kind of sense into that. Is there any invitation for your shoulder when you inhale and the ribs expand, for your shoulder to come just ever so slightly towards the ear? And when you exhale, it drops back down. Or maybe you don't feel it going towards the ear so much. Maybe it rolls forward a little bit. Maybe it rolls backwards a little bit. Just noticing. And then just kind of rest. Don't worry about feeling or thinking about the ribs or the shoulder. Just letting it all go. Letting your mind unfocus. Taking a break from it all. Feeling the support of the floor underneath you. Your head resting. Your shoulders resting, your hips and back. Just exhaling all of it into the floor. And then again, bring your attention back to the breath, the movements it makes in your chest, your ribs, your abdomen. And one of the things that's really an essential component of the sound or sleep system is that we're making room for the breath. We're softening the body so the breath can emerge as naturally as possible, the way it was meant to be. And this lesson is actually called Making Room. So as you let go, you may find over time that you sense the movement in your ribs or your abdomen more easily. If you don't feel a movement in your shoulder, over time that might become more apparent to you. And then as you feel into that expansion of your ribs on your side, the possibility of that upward movement of your shoulder with the inhalation, please bring your attention down to your pelvis and hip. And when I refer to the hip and pelvis for the purpose of this lesson, it's when we place our hands on our waist and people say we've got our hands on our hips. Well, they're not really on your hips, but for the purpose of this lesson, that's the area we're thinking about. It's just that area on the side where it goes from soft waist to bony hip. Yeah. And if there's a sense of the ribs expanding with the inhalation, just that idea that maybe the shoulder might move upward a little bit. Is there any movement that wants to happen in the hip and pelvis area? Just sense into the possibility. Does it want to just glide down, maybe a little footward? So one possibility is as the ribs open and expand on your side, the shoulder comes up to your ear and the pelvis might go down a little towards your foot. And then you exhale and the shoulder and the pelvis come towards each other again. I like to think of it kind of like an accordion. Kind of opens and expands, and then everything comes together again. And for you that might not quite be the right analogy. Maybe your shoulder wants to come a little forward or back, and maybe your pelvis wants to roll a little forward or back. So just allow that movement into your consciousness with the rhythm of the breath. Just letting it be the easiest, most natural thing. Yet your body can respond to your breath in this way. Just making room, expanding the ribs, allowing the lungs to fill with air, allowing them to empty. And then just allowing yourself to rest. Go ahead and roll onto your backs, please. And just take a moment on your back to just feel how your two sides feel. How does your breath expand into your right side with the inhalation? How does your breath go into your left side? And there may be differences now. One side you've brought a lot of attention and awareness to. Of course, this lesson can be done on either side. And just a few more times, with each exhale, let a different body part surrender more fully to the floor, allowing the support underneath you. Exhaling and really feeling the weight of your head. Letting go of your shoulders and your arms. With the next out breath, letting go of your ribs and your back. Feeling the full weight of your pelvis being supported by the floor. Your legs, your calves, your feet. And then just begin to come back into the room, wiggling your toes, wiggling your fingers. Maybe roll your head a little bit side to side. Getting the circulation going. And when you're ready, roll to your sides and come on up to standing. Take your time.